Attention, James Bond fans! We interrupt all your pondering over the franchise's questionable future to bring you another James Bond ranking video. As for the rest of you, I'm just so glad you're here. It gets really lonely on YouTube, you know. Anyway, now that I've done a ranking video of James Bond songs that made it into the franchise, time to do a ranking on the unused Bond songs. After listening to all of the ones I found, I'm glad some didn't make the cut, others are good but not good enough for me to want them in the film, and a few are so good I wouldn't mind them being in the film or even replacing the actual pick. What qualifies a song to make it on the ranking is that 1. They must have been an original song written for a particular Bond film. 2. There must be enough evidence that they were written to be used for a Bond film. And 3. They can't be instrumental. Keep in mind that I could be breaking some rules in this regard, as some of the songs in this video have very little evidence to justify them as songs written for use in a Bond film. But I promise you that I intended to be as honest as possible while making this, and you won't be getting any BS from me with this. Like with the previous Bond song ranking, I will be relying on a rating of 1 to 5 out of 5 musical gun barrels to rate each song in this video. I will also provide some history on the song before going into my opinion on the matter, so long as there's more to it than just it was submitted by this artist/band, but got rejected and wound up on the artist/band's album. Once again, before I start, I'd like to get into some honorable mentions. Demo versions of already existing Bond songs such as Goldfinger, Moonraker, and GoldenEye will not be on the list because, well, we already know the songs. That and other versions of the James Bond theme, like the one from Art of Noise, can't go on because, well, they're instrumental, they're not actual songs. Die Another Day had an unused song called I Will Return, which can be heard instrumentally in multiple variations of the film's score, and was planned to be played in the credits. The thing is, unlike something like Surrender from Tomorrow Never Dies, we never get to hear I Will Return in song form. All we're left with is an idea of what it would have been in the score. So it can't be on the ranking either. The Beach Boys' instrumental song, Pet Sounds, was intended for use as a theme for a Bond film, but it wasn't made for a particular film, so I'm leaving that out of the ranking. Finally, according to a couple of sources, Lionel Bart, who wrote the song From Russia With Love, apparently penned Eon a proposed theme for Thunderball during the summer of 1965. Similar to his previous Bond song, it was a love song that had no connection to the film's plot. A vocal version and 3 instrumentals were recorded on September 10th of that year, and according to reports from Bart, Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman heard his recordings but subsequently turned them down. 47 years later, in 2012, Bart's tapes for the song surfaced and were released. As it turns out, these tapes are still pretty hard to find, and I don't feel like going out of my way to search them out. All I've heard about the main demo is that there's like 1 lyric in the song apparently. Whether or not that's actually the case is beyond my current knowledge, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave Bart's song out of this too. So, with that all out of the way, let's get on with it. Thunderball by Johnny Cash is a pretty good song that's a semi-vague summarization of Thunderball's story. Johnny's deep voice and train-chugging rhythm are all there for fans of his works. I appreciate it from a variety standpoint. The only thing I have a problem with are those vocals in between each of the song's verses. A Western ballad may not fit with a classy British secret agent, but I think it works well, and were it used and executed properly, it could have stood out in the right way. Probably. I give it 3.5 musical gun barrels. Here we are at one of the more popular unused Bond songs on the list. Initially doubting he could write a song based around the film's title, John Barry took the name Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang from an Italian journalist who gave Bond the name in 1962. Dionne Warwick was the first choice to sing, and the recording turned out successfully. But as Barry was integrating the song's melody into the film's score, United Artists wanted a theme song with the film's title, so Barry teamed up with lyricist Don Black and wrote the title song sung by Tom Jones that we all know. However, back to Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Eon got Shirley Bassey, hot off of Goldfinger, to sing it, and they were planning to use the song for the end credits. United Artists announced her involvement, and the film was on its way to include it with Tom Jones' song. However, some issues were found of Bassey's performance, leading to the decision to omit the song from the film, which did not sit well with Bassey. Broccoli and Saltzman turned down her attempts to reinstate the song, so in response, she sued them, demanding to have the film's release halted unless the song was reinstated and she would get a prominent screen credit. Long story short, the case was settled, and neither Bassey nor Warwick's version saw any release until 1992 on a 30th anniversary CD for James Bond.
Now we are both poisoned with heartbreak.
Shirley Bassey brings her body belty energy to her version, while Dionne Warwick's is more smoother and luscious. John Barry's music all the while plays to both of their strengths. Out of both versions, Dionne Warwick's is the superior version in my eyes. Nothing against Bassey's version, I don't even mind that she doesn't even say bang bang, but instead bam bam when singing. I'm sure Timothy Dalton would have loved it though. I give Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang 4.5 musical gun barrels out of 5. Lorraine Chandler's version of the film's title song stands out as a much lighter take. It's a funky sounding tune with decent lyrics. They kind of feel out there in almost the same way as the lyrics from the Nancy Sinatra song. Chandler herself does an alright job of singing, but something about her vocals here isn't flowing well. Like the singing and the rhythm aren't complementing each other well enough. I do, however, dig the moments where she sings the title and her voice grows faint. That's a pretty neat choice. You almost get a sense that the song is building to something, but it doesn't go further than what you hear for much of the song. I'm giving this 3 musical gun barrels. Songwriter Leslie Bricusse wrote a different version of You Only Live Twice's title song before the one in the film, which was similar to Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in that both songs were about Bond and his dangerous way of living. Julie Rogers was asked to perform it, and she got it done with an orchestra and John Barry conducting. There are 2 different accounts as to why they didn't use this song for the film. According to Rogers, she was eventually told that politics were involved and they wanted a more prominent name than hers, while Leslie Bricusse said that he and Barry wanted to do better than what they had. So they created a different melody with different lyrics and got Nancy Sinatra, leaving Rogers dismayed over the result. It doesn't sound too different from Nancy Sinatra's version. It has the same vibe but with more energy, with Rogers bringing a stronger voice. It's far more dramatic, and because of the lyrics, the whole thing gives off a dangerous and elegant vibe. If you saw my first video, you may recall I gave Nancy Sinatra's song a 3.5, but now I'd add an extra half gun barrel in all honesty. This is also my way of saying Rogers' version isn't as good as Sinatra's. Still, I'd give this version 3.5 musical gun barrels. Due to the success of Paul McCartney and Wings' Live and Let Die, Alice Cooper wrote his song for the Man with a Golden Gun in the hopes of being picked by Eon. By the time he submitted his song to the producers, Lulu was already chosen to sing for the film instead, much to Cooper's vocal chagrin. Even Scaramanga himself, Christopher Lee, was bewildered that Eon didn't go with Cooper's song. Eventually, Cooper put his song on the Muscle of Love album released in late 1973. Interestingly, the song's backing vocals feature the Pointer Sisters, Ronnie Spector, and Liza Minnelli. This is a pretty good song. I mostly love parts with Cooper's vocals. It's similar to the Lulu song, yet lacks the overt innuendos and does a better job of building excitement and suspense for the character of Scaramanga. It's got a very fitting campiness to it as well, so it matches the film tonally, for the most part. The most I can criticize about this is the weird theremin riff in the middle of the song. I don't think it's bad, but if this song made it into the film, the riff would have stuck out badly for the sci-fi horror vibes it was giving. I give this 3.5 musical gun barrels. Before Sheena Easton was picked, Blondie was briefly under consideration to do a song for Your Eyes Only. They only wanted their lead singer Debbie Harry to sing on their track, but she and the rest of the band went ahead and wrote and submitted their own version. Alas, Sheena Easton won Eon over. This is a somewhat uninteresting song to me. I'm no stranger to Blondie's songs. I mean, if you haven't heard Soulja Boy's award-winning cover of Rapture, you're living under a rock, and I doubt I should even associate with you. But this song, however, wasn't among their strongest works for me. Debbie Harry's vocals aren't as striking here compared to prior Blondie songs. Everything just feels too faint for my liking. It sounds like they're appropriating the Bond guitar twang for this song, and while I appreciate the implementation, the execution isn't doing me any favors. So I'm giving this 2.5 musical gun barrels. This version of the title song for Kevin McClory's Thunderball remake was written by Stephen Forsythe and Jim Ryan. Phyllis Hyman was their first choice for the song, and she impressively performed it in just one take. They were all set to have their song used for the film until Michel Legrand, the film's composer, threatened to sue them, claiming that he had the contractual rights to the score and the title song. So in the end, the song never got released until 2008 and was replaced with Lonnie Hall's title song. It's better than what Lonnie Hall put out, but not by much. I mean, it's decent and all, but judging how they used Lonnie Hall's song at the start of the film, this song would have been pretty jarring to use there as well. Also, when I first heard it, I noticed a motif alluding to Eon's James Bond theme. While those rise and fall chords associated with Bond are found in other songs, there does happen to be more to them here. It wasn't until making this video that I found out others noticed a few motifs. Having read up on the full story behind the song, there's a chance that's also what prevented its usage. I give this song 3 out of 5 musical gun barrels. Pet Shop Boys were never asked by Eon to do This Must Be the Place I Waited Years to Leave, but they wrote and recorded it upon assuming that they might be asked, penning the song as a musical exercise. In addition to this song, Pet Shop Boys did an instrumental for The Living Daylights for the same reasons, and it appeared on many bootleg compilations under different names. They also wanted to score the whole film. Lyrically, the song is a dream recollection of the experiences of Pet Shop Boys singer Neil Tennant in Catholic school. Each verse is him dreaming about how miserable his time at the school truly was. It's still a pretty solid sounding song, providing a steady beat that gives the feeling of being surrounded by cool air. I commend the vocals for helping enhance the imagery of the lyrics too. Those and the music give a sensation of a cold, weary reflection of someone who appears to be stuck in a life he was forced to abide by. My only gripe is that it might be a little too slow for my liking, or at least the execution is what creates some disengagement for me. So I'm going to give this song 3.5 musical gun barrels. The Swedish band Ace of Base and their GoldenEye song were pulled from the film by the band's American label, Arista Records. The possible reason is due to fears that the movie would have flopped as a result of James Bond's questionable post-Cold War relevancy, damaging the band's reputation in the process. Eventually, Ace of Base took their song and reworked it into something else called The Juvenile. Now, for a demo, this song is okay to listen to. The instrumentals don't work well enough, and the lyrics can get a bit too blunt, to the point of giving the song a hint of insecurity. With lyrics like "We're in the 90s, nothing is the same, the Cold War is replaced," it reads so much as if the band itself were embarrassed as well to do a Bond song post-Cold War. Now, it's unfair to critique this song based on its quality as a demo, so having listened to The Juvenile, that song is a little better with its reworked lyrics and slightly better instrumentals, but only shows me that if Ace of Base did finalize the GoldenEye, I think it would have been a weaker effort compared to Tina Turner's song. So I'm giving this song 2.5 musical gun barrels. For starters, searching for the GoldenEye blows Ace of Base's song out of the water. It's got an amazing beat and top-notch vocals to match, and there's a nice mix of both urgency and excitement as it progresses. Lyrically, it feels less specific to the film than Ace of Base's song, but I prefer them nonetheless, following what I said about the previous song. If this had to be in the film, it could have at least replaced Experience of Love, but then again, composer Eric Serra probably wouldn't have allowed that. I'm giving this 3.5 musical gun barrels. At first, David Arnold, along with lyricist Don Black and singer David McCalmont, were going to make the title song themselves. Eventually, this would become Surrender. However, MGM preferred a more famous artist instead. On a Wednesday, MGM contacted several approximately 12 singers/bands to compose the title song for the 18th Bond film. Aside from Sheryl Crow, the ones who didn't make the cut are Pulp, Swan Lee, Mark Almond, Space, according to some sources, Duran, Allison, the Fixx, Saint Etienne, and the Cardigans. They were all in the dark about this competition, as none of them learned others were being contacted to write a title song. Only 6 of these unused songs can be ranked, as the songs from Mark Almond, Space, and the Cardigans have not seen the light of day. Pulp is an English rock band that had been trying to make it big for almost 15 years, and it seemed that James Bond would bring them some attention. According to Jarvis Crocker, they were told on a Wednesday that they had to submit the song 2 days later on a Friday. Eventually, their song was titled as Tomorrow Never Lies and ended up as a B-side on their 1997 single, Helps the Aged. I feel sorry for them and all, but with that said, this isn't that good. I get the David Bowie vibes this song was trying to evoke, but it just doesn't work. I don't like how faint most of the vocals sound, and the music isn't doing much for me. They really don't complement each other. Sometimes they feel too out of sync. The one alright aspect of the song is the lyrics. It almost sounds like they're trying to acknowledge the film's themes and plot, but it doesn't seem to get there in my eyes. It gets 2 musical gun barrels. So now we go from a not-so-good song to an excellent one. Swan Lee's Tomorrow Never Dies is easily my favorite of this bunch. I find the music to be wonderful with its gliding melody that makes for some beautiful listening. As for the vocals, there's a touch of elegance and dreaminess in the singing too. There's a chance others could find it whiny, but the blend of both of them makes for such a beautiful song. Although this never made it into the film, Swan Lee's song ended up being used in the game Hitman Blood Money. The developers of Hitman, IO Interactive, are also responsible for the upcoming 007 First Light. Therefore, we have come full circle. I'm gonna give this 4.5 musical gun barrels. That's right, Duran would have almost been the only other ones, aside from Shirley Bassey, to have done more than one Bond song. Upon hearing this, I'm not disappointed that this never got to be the case. The instrumentals mostly aren't that bad, they're the only thing I like about this. It's got a frantic vibe to it that sounds like video game boss music, but the vocals would be better if they gelled more with the instrumentals, but they just don't sound that good to me. 2 out of 5 musical gun barrels for me. It was said that Saint Etienne's song was Pierce Brosnan's favorite of the bunch, to the point he even kept the master tape of the song. Whether he counted the songs that made it in or not, I have no idea. Moving forward, it's better than Pulp and Duran's songs, but still not good enough for me. The rhythm and vocals make for a very sensual vibe, but I'm not that fond of it. The vibe probably is not for me. I think the song's at its best by the end, but once again, it's not strong enough. I give this 2.5 musical gun barrels. On the surface, the lyrics to Fatal Shore by the Fixx sound like they're more suited for the fantasy genre than the action espionage genre. Looking closer, it sounds like the song is about using children to serve their parents' goal of achieving ongoing dominance in their lives. I have a hard time seeing this being used for anything Bond-related, frankly. The vocals and instrumentals are doing a good job, enough to be just above serviceable. There's nothing here that resonates with me strongly, but there still is a good song here. This gets 3 out of 5 musical gun barrels. I'd say the best aspect of Allison's Tomorrow Never Comes is the lyrics, which tell a somber perspective of someone breaking away from meeting someone else's standards in an unspecified relationship, leaving the door open to forgiveness as well. There's almost a sense of the person in this song going through a recollection of who this person was in their life, which does give me vibes reminiscent of Pet Shop Boys' unused Bond song. Like Fatal Shore, this is just above serviceable for what it is. I give this 3 out of 5 musical gun barrels. So, ignoring the fact that I spent 3 years writing this video to find that I almost missed this song, this pretty much may be the only unused song for a Bond game that's out there. Originally slated as the title song for the 1999 Tomorrow Never Dies video game for the PS1. If you play the game, you will not find this song anywhere except for some code written for it. It is only available on the game's OST. It sounds pretty serviceable for what it is, so pretty decent for a slow rock ballad. Judging from the title and lyrics, this could be about Bond expressing his feelings for Paris Carver, who, if you remember, was an old lover Bond had an unseen history with, according to the film. I don't think the song does any favors for the relationship of those characters in the film. Similarly to Sheryl Crow's lyric, I see it in your eyes, tomorrow never dies, this song has a lyric, I can see it in your eyes that tomorrow never dies, which makes for a confusing choice. I'm giving this 2.5 musical gun barrels. The vocals start Amar's song off on a rough note. I think it's too whiny for my liking. Eventually it starts to pick up thanks to the additional instrumentals implemented into the song. The instrumentals themselves are a bit of a mixed bag. Only when it starts does it turn me off. There's at least a distinct twang throughout the song that just didn't sit right with me personally. This is getting 2.5 musical gun barrels. Wow. I still accept Garbage's song as the title sequence song for The World Is Not Enough, but this is really good. The references to other Bond stories such as You Only Live Twice, Live and Let Die, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service might come off as fan servicey, but I think they'd avert being considered as uninspired. If anything, it's a well-crafted idea of Bond's character. Somebody already said this, but whereas Garbage's song was more about the villain of The World Is Not Enough, this one is much more about Bond. Instrumentally, man, oh man, does Straw capture the Bond sound to near perfection, creating a slow, sly, and dangerous tune. 4.5 out of 5 musical gun barrels, it is really, really incredible. If this had to be in the film, it would have been perfect for the end credits. Speaking of... Here we have a Bond song that was supposed to be in the credits, but was considered to be too downbeat of a song to close the film on. At the very least, you can hear it instrumentally in the film's score, namely through the theme of character Electra King. This song is exactly like one of those sad lounge songs, though it feels more cinematic once the strings start to enter the instrumentals. It probably could have been fitted somewhere in the credits as well, at least after the rendition of the Bond theme that plays. Judging from the lyrics, this is an insight into Bond still coming to grips with a critical event that happened in the series, really feeling that sense of loneliness no matter who he tries to fill that void with. Having observed that prior end-credit Bond songs such as If There Was a Man can be viewed as songs that tap into the loneliness of Bond as a character, this song is far more intentional. Scott Walker gives off a vocally resonant performance on top of it all. I give this 4 out of 5 musical gun barrels. Beyond the Ice by Red Flag was a song written before Die Another Day was confirmed as the official title for Bond's 20th film. I don't think too much of it, but I like how it gives off this slow, chilly feel with the singing. I find it to suit the film's utilization of the element. Judging from some of the lyrics, it's generally a summary of the film itself, but also seems to focus a bit on the film's henchwoman, Miranda Frost. Also, Beyond the Ice isn't the official name of the song, but has been the name that fans have given it. This naturally would have been more appropriate than what Madonna gave us, but the song is lacking something to make it more of an opening song. If anything, it would work better for the credits. I give this song 3 musical gun barrels. Of course, Sandra's take on a Casino Royale title song isn't anywhere near the levels of You Know My Name, but... yeah, it's not too good. Sandra's got a distinctively breathy voice, making it an acquired taste. While it does have that sensual vibe that matches the music as well, I'm not vibing with her voice. The instrumentals are honestly the best part of this thing. It's just above decent and works at its own emulation of the Bond spy sound. Once again, it wouldn't have worked as the title song because of how much You Know My Name fits for Bond in the film, but it wasn't the worst effort. I give this 2.5 musical gun barrels. While Forever by Eva Almer is a more Bondian sounding song, I don't like this. It's just not working for me at all. Yeah, it's dramatic, yeah, her vocals aren't bad, but I don't know, it doesn't feel powerful enough to make an impact. There's nothing that just sticks out to me to make me like it. I guess I like how it references Bond's relationship to Vesper in that moment where it uses Bond's "I'm yours" comment to her, but that isn't enough to improve my opinion. Forever gets 2 out of 5 musical gun barrels for me. Warning, I'm going to bend the rules a little bit on this one. While it's true that David Arnold himself said No Good About Goodbye was written after the release of Quantum of Solace, I feel that the song has a lot going for it concerning the film that persuaded me to include it in this ranking. Yes, this is a very subjective choice. Yes, you have the right to argue with me in the comments, revoke my Bond fan credentials for getting Bond wrong or whatever, but I'm putting this song on this ranking, and you can't do a thing about it. I'd argue that at this point, David Arnold's composition for this is far more his own thing than Surrender was, because I'm getting less John Barry vibes as I listen to this. While not all of John Barry's work in the series was brassy and jazzy, I feel like Arnold's carried on that classic dramatic Bond sound and put his own into it even more. Shirley Bassey still has those powerful vocals, even in her 60s. As for the lyrics, they work really well as a depiction of Bond's post-Casino Royale mindset, given that haunting and dramatic shade by Bassey's singing. It's not as iconic as Goldfinger or Diamonds Are Forever, but at least I find it better than Moonraker. I give this song 4 musical gun barrels. So, back when 24 by Lana Del Rey was released in 2015, there were rumors at first that this song was written for use in Spectre. Eventually, Del Rey confirmed that this was the song's initial purpose, but wound up getting rejected by Eon. Going off my familiarity with one of Lana Del Rey's songs, that being Video Games, I can identify how Del Rey's usually soft, melancholic singing is applied to more dramatic instruments. She gives off a nice, sultry lounge singer performance that also builds into the typical dramatic Bond ballad. The lyrics are pretty similar to Sheryl Crow's Tomorrow Never Dies from the perspective of a woman who laments the life James Bond leads as a spy. In no way does it actually have any particular bearing on any particular film, but if we want to make a tenuous stretch, there's always Madeline Swan's questioning of the life Bond leads during that one train scene in the film. Anyways, the song has this flamenco vibe to it with the use of castanets in the song, which are fine for this, but I don't really mess with it here. It's a decent song, so I'll give it 3 musical gun barrels. Radiohead wrote their Spectre song after initially submitting a Bond-inspired song they wrote in 1992 called Man of War. The production team for Spectre liked it, but upon learning it wasn't written for the film and thus would be ineligible for a Best Original Song Academy Award, it got rejected. With that done, Radiohead went to work on this song, but it still got rejected for being too dark and melancholy. Director Sam Mendes said that he tried putting this elsewhere in the film, but could not find a fitting place to put it due to the lyrics being too distracting. And with that said, oh my goodness, I freaking love Radiohead's Spectre. It's very ghostly, very grim and ominous. It has this classy sort of attractive moodiness going on with those echoey vocals. It may be too angsty for other people's taste, but I don't mind it at all. It fits Craig's Bond, reflecting his current mindset just as well as in Sam Smith's song. And I still like Writings on the Wall, but Radiohead's song may be the one unused Bond song I wished was in the film instead. 5 out of 5 musical gun barrels from me, it's just wonderful. Skylar Grey sent Eon Productions her song for No Time to Die, but in response, they said they only wanted British people to sing the theme song. While they clearly went on to contradict this for Billie Eilish, my guess is they didn't think Skylar was famous enough, or this was very early in the song-picking stage before they chose to go with Eilish. While Skylar's song hasn't been released formally, she has live-streamed the song alongside other rejected songs of hers. Now, assuming that the genre here is alternative pop, I don't think it's a genre that works for Bond, at least going by Grey's execution here. I really can't make out much of the lyrics at this time, but I suppose it somewhat works at conveying Bond's ongoing sense of duty to MI6, stating how his commitment is also an inescapable burden that's wearing him down. It's got a good beat, and I also like how Skylar's vocals fluctuate in energy with the music. Nothing really wrong with it, it's a decent song at the very least. So I'll give Grey's song 3 musical gun barrels. Now that I've covered all the unused/rejected Bond songs, let's get on to ranking them from worst to best. Number 27, Duran Duran's Tomorrow Never Dies. Number 26, Tomorrow Never Lies. Number 25, Forever. Number 24, Letters to Paris. Number 23, Saint Etienne's Tomorrow Never Dies. Number 22, The GoldenEye. Number 21, Amar's The World's Not Enough. Number 20, Blondie's For Your Eyes Only. Number 19, Casino Royale by Sandra. Number 18, I'm a Soldier. Number 17, Beyond the Ice. Number 16, Phyllis Hyman's Never Say Never Again. Number 15, Fatal Shore. Number 14, Tomorrow Never Comes. Number 13, Lorraine Chandler's You Only Live Twice. Number 12, 24. Number 11, This Must Be the Place I Waited Years to Leave. Number 10, Johnny Cash's Thunderball. Number 9, Searching for the GoldenEye. Number 8, Alice Cooper's The Man with the Golden Gun. Number 7, Julie Rogers' You Only Live Twice. Number 6, Only Myself to Blame. Number 5, No Good About Goodbye. Number 4, Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Number 3, Straws, The World Is Not Enough. Number 2, Swan Leaves Tomorrow Never Dies. And number 1, Radiohead's Spectre. And there you have it, all the unused Bond songs ranked. I feel like compared to the songs I ranked previously, there was much more variety on display here, so it was great getting to hear other people's takes on making a Bond song, even if a good some weren't working for me. Once again, as the franchise is entering an ambiguous future under Amazon's control, it makes you wonder just how much things will change now that Eon will have less input than ever over James Bond. In the case of songs, there could be a chance that songs like the ones I've covered get their chance to shine in a Bond film without the Broccoli family overseeing things. So, do you agree with my list? Do you have an opinion on any of these songs? Are there any other songs I happen to miss that could have been on here? Because I feel like I've missed something. But anyways, feel free to engage with me in the comments about your thoughts. Until then, thank you again for watching, and take good care of yourself.
Where is the solace that I crave? One that would haunt me to my grave. Too broken to forgive, too painful to relive now. There may be other arms to hold. They'll only keep me from the cold.
Wait, don't leave! I have more to say, alright? First of all, thank you so much, so very, very much for watching this video, and thank you for waiting for... How long has it been since the first one? Oh, right, that's right. Almost a year. Well, I can promise you that my next big video that I have planned will not take nearly as long. Ideally, I hope to have it out by the end of the year. But if that doesn't happen, I can promise, I swear, I bet my life on it, it will not come out any later than February 27th, 2026. This specific date is a hint for what the next video is. Anyways, yes, I plugged it already in the credits, but I want to say thank you again to my best buddy in the whole wide world, Kronos, for designing my new avatar. You are going to be seeing him much more often going forward, as long as I'm keeping the Nicholson's channel running. I will get more emotes. I will get some accessories. I will do more stuff with him. At least on here. Anyway, that's all I wanted to add for this. Thank you again. Thank you so much for watching. Even if this doesn't crack 1,000 views like the first video did, even if it doesn't, if it just gets very little views, that's fine. It's whatever. Honest. Yeah. If it's your birthday right now as you're watching this, happy birthday. And have a good rest of whatever time it is for you. I'm going to sleep eventually. Yeah, take care.